Hi, Paul with Diode Dynamics, and today we're talking about OEM HIDs. Specifically, we're going to go over the different bulb sizes and the types of ballasts and connectors you might come across. So, when talking about HIDs, we have to be aware of the three major components. We've got our ballast, which controls the current, our igniter, which starts the arc and gets the light going, and then the actual bulb capsule itself. And with OEM HIDs, these are kind of configured some different ways. The first type of HID bulb to hit the market is known as the D1. This is available on Lincolns in the late 90s, and it consists of the bulb as well as the igniter, so it's all one unit. Soon after, the D2 size was introduced as well, and you'll see it just is missing that igniter. This makes it much more economical. You don't have to replace that costly igniter if you just need to change the bulb. For this reason, the D2 bulb is the most common you'll find on vehicles all the way from about 2000 to 2015. And with that popularity comes a couple of different variants. So you'll find D2S as well as D2R. Anything with an S designation is made for projector headlamps. A D2R bulb, or D1R, will have an extra shield on the outside of the glass itself, and that helps produce the cutoff line needed in reflector type headlights. So D1R or D2R are for reflectors, and D1S, D2S are for projectors. Now, in addition to that, there's a couple aftermarket variants of the D2S as well. First, you might come across a D2C bulb. And the C is kind of an invention by the aftermarket, and all it means is that it has the notches for both D2S and D2R on it. So D2R normally only has a notch on one side, and D2S has it on the other. The D2C is compatible with both S and R. Of course, it's much better to actually purchase D2S or D2R for your application instead of getting this cheaper one-size-fits-all. We also have something called the D2H bulb. So the D2H is here, and you can see the base and everything is the same, so it installs the same way, but instead of using the socket type connector on the bottom, like your standard D2 bulb, it's going to use wires just like an H series bulb. So this is what we refer to as amp connections here. So this is going to connect to a standard ballast instead of requiring the socket connector. This can be very handy if you don't have that much space behind the bulb to put an entire socket on, like this one, where that might be too much room. You can go ahead and use a D2H bulb and connect it with the H series amp style connectors. Now from there, the other bulb sizes are newer inventions, the D3 and the D4. Those correspond to D1 and D2 as well, and the difference is these are environmentally friendly. So D1 and D2 have mercury content in them. Of course, that's not good. D3 and D4 do not. They also run on a lower voltage, so you can't just plug them in and expect them to work the same. The mercury content isn't the only difference. They're not compatible electrically, and then that tab designation on the bottom is going to be different as well, so you physically can't install one on the other. So D3 and D4 are basically replacing D1 and D2 in all new applications. From there, there's a couple of new sizes as well, D5, D6, D7, D8. There's a need for these because they're all lower power. A lot of manufacturers have decided that they just don't need the raw output power of the bulbs themselves. The optic technology is getting better and better, so they can accomplish what they need to with something that might only have 25 watts. Now, for a bulb size like this one, this is a D5 bulb, you can purchase aftermarket replacements that run at a full 35 watts of power or higher. So that could be a good upgrade if you're not happy with the output of a lower powered bulb like the D5 through the D8 series. So that basically covers the different HID bulbs that are available on the market. So how do these connect to the ballasts? Well, the big thing right off the bat is that D2 and D4 using the socket type connectors. For these, you'll always need some sort of socket to plug those into, whether it's an actual purpose-made D2S ballast, like this Hilux ballast here, or you're using an adapter like this one, which actually converts the amp style connectors to a D2 connection. So these can be finicky. You gotta make sure you get a good one, because if these connections are loose at all, you're arcing a lot of voltage here, and that can cause problems. So make sure you get good quality ones if you choose this route. Now for the D1 and D3, you almost always have to use factory ballasts like these, which have small wires on them to connect to that tiny unique connector on the side of the D1 and D3. We actually do provide an aftermarket replacement here that's made for D1 bulbs, and it comes with a couple of wires so that you can get that connected. But it can be a lot more tedious to replace a D1 series bulb normally. The D5 through D8 use those same style connectors, but these are also very expensive because these are actually a ballast and igniter and bulb all combined into one. So one single modular unit, but these can be $250 to $350 for just one pair because it's all one set. So getting very expensive again. No matter what you have for HIDs, we're happy to help you figure it out and determine the best option for you. Whether you're looking for something to just directly replace your OEM setup, or you want to try out a D2H bulb for use in a retrofit application, we have what you might be looking for. You can find more information at diodedynamics.com. Thanks for watching.